Hello there, Mike the MC, bringing another self-care video. Is it true what they say? Right, I'm going to share with you number 288 with respect to leadership and how do we take for granted the words of leaders? Do we listen wholeheartedly to what they say? Or is it nice to go lone wolf and kind of say, hey, I don't really want to follow into the public narratives. I want to follow my direction. And I think there's a healthy way of living life with respect to having a distance from the media and your own personal study. But let me share with you number 288 of the following and see what it says with regards to a faith perspective and how with creation there was this beautiful covenant between God and the people and how the leaders were really conveying the truth from what they were believing. And so let me share with you number 288 of the Catechism. So it states the following. Thus the revelation of creation is inseparable from the revelation and forging of the covenant of the one God with his people. Creation is revealed as the first step toward this covenant, the first and universal witness to God's all-powerful love. And so the truth of creation is also expressed with growing vigor in the message of the prophets, the prayer of the Psalms, and the liturgy, and in the wisdom sayings of the chosen people. Wow. And so the wisdom, right, the message that they were conveying, these prophets, right, from the Catholic perspective to the people. But here's the thing. The prophets were ridiculed by the people because no one wanted to listen to them either, right? And it kind of comes back and relates to our world, doesn't it? Kind of sounds like today in some way where we can think of so many people trying to convey their message through the internet, whether it's through Hollywood, politics, you could think of even through media, a YouTuber like me, right? I don't know. Excuse me. Books and religion, right? You can think of all the famous people who are trying to convey some sort of message, right? But I think with regard to the prophets, this idea of creation and the covenant, right? They're connecting the message through creation. This idea that you and I were created in this world at some point in time to do something. But I think with regards to going to an earlier question I was bringing up earlier, with regards to do we follow the public narrative or do we go our own way? Or can it be in a bit of a both situation, right? Can we kind of follow but yet kind of do our own personal study? And I would argue that third option is pretty helpful in the sense that, hey, you can have an idea of what's happening in the world around you. That's healthy. And then from there, you can say, okay, let me do my own personal study. Let me do my own research as far as what's real, what's fake. Let me go driving around in the city. Let me see where my government money's being spent. Let me see where everyone is saying to go here to visit this place for this location for a new restaurant, an opening, right? I don't know. They're having some food being sold and you're thinking about all these messages, all these news feeds that are given out on the media. And you're thinking, okay, which ones are true? Which ones are fake, right? Is someone just trying to get the attention and get all the likes in the world, right? You can think of this in the perspective of, okay, a lot of people like to do all the reels, all the short clips, and you're thinking, okay, they're just doing it for images, for quick likes to get the popularity going. Now, there is a bit of broadcast, public relation, as well as being a business. You have to be out there and willing to take on criticism. And so on that perspective, right, are you willing to take criticism from people who may not want to listen to you, even if you have the truth? That's something to consider, because it's hard for people to hold and stay by the truth when people don't want to hear it, or even when it's false and everyone's just coming around saying, wow, this lady, they're talking the truth. This is really incredible. And you're thinking, okay, what is my morality? Where do I stand on this message? Do I believe what I'm saying, or am I just advertising the message so that way I can make a good several bucks on the TV and try to be famous in Hollywood, etc., right? Am I just trying to promote a narrative? But you think of all the people who have lost their careers in Hollywood who were trying to promote public narratives and how that really destroyed their careers because they were going in one direction, but the rest of the people like us, we were just watching the movies and all the other things on the media, and we're like, they may not be so correct. I don't know. Right? Some of my actors, your actors, that we followed over the years, you come to hear all these stories and how they treated other people, and you're like, oh, wow, maybe we should not have given them all that popularity, all of that promotion, all of those free passes, right? And you come to think, okay, how do I become a critical thinker and evaluate the information that is being shared with me in the real world? Right. So like I say, go drive in the city yourself. Look at how your government money is being spent. Are they being spent like I've seen in some examples where new buildings are being built using the bonds, using your money from taxes, right? Are people just also being busy in the city as far as getting productive with more restaurants, more businesses, our schools, protecting the kids as far as the bus drivers, getting them to home and back, etc., etc. And you're thinking, okay, all these systems are happening. Now the teachers, the superintendents, the ones who are staying where they're staying in the pocket, right? Staying where they want to convey their message, right? Can they talk the talk? And if they are, they sound pretty confident, I think that's a good sign as far as sending your kid to the school, because you could tell that, okay, this school may have some good standards, right? They're willing to stay in the pocket and uphold their message. And then you think, all right, it's up to me now to decide for me, for my kids, with my wife, my husband, my family, with everybody. Is this where we want to live? Is this where we want to stay? Do we like the governor? Do we like the mayor? Do we like the people who run this place? Can we trust the leadership of the town? The leadership of my company? Can I trust my coworkers? Can I trust the leadership itself to defend me? And that's the thing. If you want to be lone wolf, here's the benefit. You can work on your own. Be independent. And people say, oh, beware of being a lone wolf, but I would argue it's all right to have some boundaries, some separation. So that way you're not lost and you have your ability to think, have your ability to make opinions about other things, about other people and theories, etc. Because you want to be able to come to a conclusion and an answer and defend your opinions, right? Not go with a public narrative, but be able to defend what you have come across in research with other people. And maybe that resonates with some people, maybe it won't, but who knows? If you're a very charismatic speaker, who knows, maybe you could win some people over. But the point is, I would argue finding that balance between the public narrative and being a lone wolf, and seeing which teachers, if you become a teacher in this regard, try to teach from this perspective and see how people respond to you. And if you're able to hold on to the truth, perfect. If you have to relate back to the truth with other examples that relate to other people, okay, I think that's okay as far as you coming back to the truth. But what do you think? Share in the comments. How do you uphold your message without being thrown out of town? Without being thrown out as a ridicule, as someone that's like, oh my, this person's speaking blasphemy, right? This person's speaking a heresy. There's no way we'd want to listen to this person. So how do you convey a message, and how do you listen to other people, and how do you get people inspired by the truth, and to see that in creation we're all part of a bigger system, big game plan, and how we can all really play a part in helping other people. And that is the cool thing with 288, seeing at how throughout the centuries the truth has always been passed on from generation to generation. And when you can pass on that message throughout the centuries, that's really awesome to hear. So what messages are you going to convey to your grandkids and great-grandkids if you get the benefit, blessing to see them? And how are they going to remember you and your legacy moving forward? And how is your message really a good reminder of what you stood by? Things to consider. All right, everyone, hope this one finds you well with number 288 of the Catechism. Be strong, courageous, don't give up on yourself. Remember that you and I can do good things, we can help other people, and that we can uphold a message and stand by what we say. We don't have to fall for the public narrative. We can be true, and we can be honest with our opinions, but we can also listen to other people and be a lone wolf and not follow into the public narrative as much as possible, and maintain that balance, that protection. Protect yourself and uphold your opinions, and you will become a charismatic speaker. All right, everyone. Hope this video finds you well. Take care. Have a good one.